Hello and welcome to a slightly different video today. Today we're going to be tying the red Brandling bloodworm, or the APPLEBY bloodworm as it's known here in the northeast. We're going to start off using a Fario size 10 wet fly hook. You can also use a Kamasan B175 or equivalent, but I do like these Fario hooks. They come barbless, which I quite like. Next up, we want to take our flexi-floss, which in this case is the Brandling coloured floss by Bill McIlroy, which I really like. Very good colours. You can, however, use any shade red flexi floss you like. It doesn't really make that much difference, to be honest. Next up we have the floss, which is Glow Bright number 5. Again, I found this pattern successful using number 5, number 4, or even the straight red. It doesn't really make a difference in my opinion. So first of all, we'll begin by tying on with the floss, just a couple of turns just to nip that down. You often get those little stray bits sticking up like you can see there, which are quite annoying. Next up, you want to take the hank of flexi floss and select 2 lengths from that. One length is going to form the front and back legs, and the other length is going to be for the rib. So we're going to take the first length, fold it in half like so, and even the ends up. We're going to offer this up to the hook. Now I like about 1.5 inches to hang over each end of the hook, and just secure those with a couple of wraps of the floss just to keep them in place there. Just going to nip them down with a couple of turns. Now we're going to take our second piece of flexi floss, which is going to form the rib, and we're going to carefully just tie that in. Again, just a few turns to start with, just to catch it in and keep it there. And just take some scissors and trim off that excess bit. You don't need that. Now, carefully grabbing all 3 pieces that you have there, all 3 tails, pull them down quite tight. Try and keep some touch and turns, pulling the floss as you go just to keep it nice and tight and even. We're looking for quite a smooth, even body on this. I'm going to take it back up and cover it with another wrap, touch and turns again to the head. At this point we're going to fold the front legs back a little bit and put a few turns underneath. As you can see, that helps the front legs kick up a little bit, which is what we want. Want them to be nice and free and bouncing around as they are there. We're going to go back down the hook again. Again, touch and turns if you can, keeping it nice and smooth. And again, one more time, we're going to take it touch and turns back up towards the head. Once we reach this point, we're going to take the piece of flexi floss for the rib. The first turn that I put in, I like to try and hold the back legs in position with it. As you can see, just pull it down tight, and then loosely, and I do stress loosely, don't pull it tight here, run up with the flexi floss. We're looking for 4 turns up towards the head, and then we're going to tie it in there. Secure the floss with a few extra turns like so, keeping it neat as you're going. We do want to keep the fly quite symmetrical and neat. Just trim away the flexi floss there, the excess. You don't need that anymore. That's finished with. And then we're going to just build up a tiny little neat head. I just like the head of the fly to just be a little bit pronounced, just a little bulb on the end there. And once you're happy with that, with the dimensions you have on the front of the fly, just pull the floss back again, a couple more wraps underneath, just to help those legs stay up and kick. And then we're basically going to hold the legs out of the way and whip finish. I like to whip finish with my fingers. I don't use the tool, so you may want to adjust to suit your own tying. And just pull this tight, make sure everything's secure. Come in with your scissors and just trim that off neatly. At this point, offer up both front and back legs to each other, and trim off the excess from the longer of the 2, just to keep them short. You should end up with about 1.5 inches either side of the fly. We're then going to take some UV resin and apply it to the fly just to make it more durable. So just use a bobbin needle if you don't have an adapter on your resin bottle, and just put a small drop on like so and just spread it evenly. Try and get an even spread all around the fly. Personally, when I've finished coating the fly with the resin and hardened it off, I normally add an extra coat of Sally Hansen's or varnish just to toughen it up again. I have experimented with this, and you can just use the varnish in place of the UV resin, so you can just exclude that completely. And I have found that it does keep the colour of the floss brighter than using UV resin. I don't know why, I don't know the science behind that, but if you use varnish you do tend to get a brighter fly. I've been tying and fishing this pattern for almost 15 years, and I can't tell you in all honesty, the colour of the body tends not to matter too much. You can use Glow Bright number 4, you could use just a red underbody, you could have the entire centre of the fly red and it will still catch fish. The pull for the trout is mainly the kick of the legs and the red coloration. Now when the UV's coated nicely and you're happy with it, take your torch and just cure that off, and then you can add an additional coat of Sally Hansen's or varnish if you wish, which I do prefer. It makes the fly a lot more sturdy, and I find with some UV resins that it can turn white after contact with water, but this is prevented by adding the coat of Sally Hansen's or varnish. This pattern's an absolute must for the fly box, especially this time of year in the winter months. It counts for a lot of fish. I do have quite a few videos showing how effective the pattern can be, and you can fish it many ways. You could fish this static under the bung, you can fish it on a floating line with quite a long leader and just let it drift around in the wind with the odd tweak just to get these legs moving. As you can see there, lots of movement in the floss. You can even fish them on an intermediate and pull them back. It depends what the fish want on the day. But the main thing is, it is a killer pattern. It was designed by Peter Appleby, and it's a pattern that's going to be around for a long time. Excellent pattern. So get some tied up and get your box full. Thank you very much for watching the video, and hope you have a very happy new year. Thank you.